Greetings, this is TimeRider, and today I'll be fulfilling a commitment I made a long time ago. I feel bad it's taken me this long to do it, but on the other hand, I think the end result is better than it might have been if I had done it long ago. At least I hope my skills have improved since then. One of my subscribers sent me a bunch of castings, and included in the package was 2 of these Matchbox Rolla-Matic Range Rover police cars. Dan, the subscriber, is a Land Rover fanatic and even has a YouTube channel called Roverland. I'll include a link if you'd like to check it out. So anyway, Dan wanted one of these Rolla-Matics restored. And while I don't generally restore super fast era cars because the wheels just suck, I generally customize them, but I thought I'd make an exception here. And while this isn't a super fast, it's from that era, and it has those god-awful wheels that Matchbox introduced to try to compete with Hot Wheels. The toy was held together with a single post, and it was interesting because they kind of reinforced it. If you look on the sides of the post, you see like some wings there that made this post really, really strong. And then there was 2 holes in the back of the casting, you can see, that had part of the base that hooked into those holes to hold the whole thing together. You know, I think that Hot Wheels, these came out in 1973, and I think Matchbox was probably feeling the pinch of Hot Wheels by that point. And this was kind of a gimmick, I think, to invigorate interest in their product. They made several. And put a button screw in this thing, because, you know, I do have to get it back together sometime. And clean off the post a little bit, because I want it to go back together easily. But anyway, yeah, all of the probably the most popular one is the piston popper, which is a Mustang. Oh, look at that. That's some really old stripper. But it'll do the job. No shake for luck. Long time ago. This was kind of a deja vu moment, I guess, because I've done so many Rovers, it's like the casting is really familiar. And this is a good casting, other than the great big hole in the roof. It does kind of remind me of the Majorette I did, though. The roof was collapsed just a little bit, probably got stepped on. I don't know if you can see it. There's just a slight curve to it. So basically, I just used a little brute force and pushed it as straight as I could get it. And then, having primed it, I started with the Tamiya X2, I think it is, which is their white. I think the X1 is black. Putting on tack coats. You know, those who know me know I'm not into the gimmicks. I hate the hyperbolic blown motors that these guys put into the hoods. Here you can see the suspension, and this was the better of the 2 suspensions, actually, is broken. So I'm going to have to address that, and basically I don't think Dan's going to play with the toy, so whatever I do is probably going to eliminate the suspension. And the base was just metal, so I just cleaned it with a wire brush, and if you look, you can kind of see right by my fingers, there's like a cutaway on the base for that little pin that's on the tire that activates the whole Rolla-Matic thing, which is essentially just a gear. The base actually, I think, you know, as far as appearance goes, turned out really nice. And here's those wonderful Rolla-Matic wheels, and you can see the little post on the wheel as I'm cutting carpet fibers off of the axle. But you can see the little post that spins around and activates the roller. And then the glass is fogged because clearly they don't want you to see the mechanism, so they like frosted it. But even so, I want to clean it, and I'm using Novus products, which I use a lot. on glass, and part 1 is just a cleaner, and then Novus part 2 is like a polishing compound. So I want the glass to look as good as it possibly can on the inside and the out. And here we are back at the suspension again, and you can see I've already kind of addressed the front. And basically what I did is I got everything in a position where the wheels sat properly, and then put some super glue and pushed it into the suspension mechanism with a toothpick in a couple of different locations, because I want it to be very, very sturdy. And I'm pushing it in because it's kind of thick, and I want it to be under as well as over. And of course, then I'm going to, finish it off by sprinkling a little Arm & Hammer on it. And then just to finish my thought about the hyperbolic motors they were putting in these, and the gimmicky things that they were trying to do to increase their sales. Matchbox was known for so long at making hyper accurate castings. I broke that decal. That this was a disservice to them, I think, to do this. I didn't know where to get these decals from, and that was just inexperience. I finally found out that Black Square actually has a super fast section. And I wound up buying 3 sets of decals, because the first set of decals I wrecked. And of course, Black Square is in England. And you can see there's 2 decals there, even though I just broke the one I was putting on. And I wound up having to order another one. And the second time I ordered them, I ordered 2 sets, which turned out to be kind of karmic. And I'll get to that in a minute. But the decals went on good, and I covered the car with some clear. And here you can see the super fast, the Rolla-Matic components in their glory. You got your beacon there. With the gear on it, and then you've got your actuator, which is kind of under my hand right now. And you can see I'm kind of looking at that little spinner, because I got to make sure it clears the base in order for it to work. And then it's just a matter of assembling the Rolla-Matic mechanism inside the car. Whoops, goes the other way, Lee. Snap in the back, put the front in with that button screw. And man, I'll tell you, I thought, that looks damn good, I'm done. Assembly is like the most dangerous point in time, because you can see on the door here, I touched it. And you got everything done. So if you screw it up then, a lot of times it's not something you can fix. So I had to strip it, and I had to paint it white again. For some reason, the white doesn't focus very well with my camera. And then here comes that second set of Black Square decals that I ordered just in case. Much more careful this time, didn't break them. And then a little bit of decal setting solution. And then I'll take a paper towel here, and I'm just very lightly brushing it over the top to get away the excess. And once the decal had fully set, I covered it again with X35 semi-gloss clear Tamiya. And then this is where I wound up. I painted the centers of those wheels with silver paint. There's not a lot you can do with the black part because it's all scuffed up and you really can't, add back to it in any way. But all in all, I think it turned out pretty good. And by the time you see this, this will be at the post office on its way back to Wisconsin. So Dan can add it to his collection. There you have it. The Matchbox 20E Rolla-Matic Police Range Rover. Stick around for an episode of The Bench when we're all done here. And it's TimeRider. And I'll leave the light on for you. Hey everybody, thanks for hanging around for this episode of The Bench. Mark your calendars because this Saturday I am going to be publishing my video of the number 14 Iso Grifo. And I gotta tell you, I'm loving this car. And I think the end result is one of the bests that I've ever done. So if you like that kind of thing, be sure to tune in on Saturday. You know, right now I don't have any restorations going on. Everything I have is custom. So I want to do one of these three. I'm going to do them all, but I thought I'd let you guys pick which one I started with. I got the number 57 Wolseley 1500, and then I got a number 28 Jaguar Mark 10 that somebody else had taken it apart and painted it. That's not original. And no, I'm not going to replace the tow hitch on that, but I did buy the new windshield for it. And then, of course, I got the number 24 Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow, and I like that car too, but I'll put the poll up. You guys tell me which one you want. And then last, but certainly not least, a couple of episodes of The Bench ago, I might have mentioned I wanted to do something with this, and I figured it was about time I made me a gasser. So this is kind of a long-term project because I got some other things going on with it, but that's the direction I'm going with this. So that's all I have for you today on this wonderful Thursday. Tune in Saturday, and everybody have a great rest of your week. This is TimeRider.